Today I am pleased to present my review on a book that I just picked up yesterday, and it is by Pete Souza, Obama: An Intimate Portrait. And so last week I received a text from my brother Reginald asking me to be available for Pete Souza's book signing, which happened to be yesterday. And I heard about Pete's book several months ago and eventually knew that it was one that I had to have in our library. And also, as a freelance writer, I knew about Pete's photos as during President Obama's terms, whenever I was penning an article on him or the administration, I knew I could count on Pete's White House photos to help readers understand the perspective I was writing from. And so you simply had to go on the site and you could download them as long as you gave appropriate credit, which I had no problem in doing. So the day came, and it was my first visit to the cross-campus complex on Wilshire Boulevard in downtown Los Angeles. It's just part of the redevelopment that's going on down there, and very nice building. And there was a throng of guests waiting to get in, and many with books in hand who patiently waited to hop on the elevator to get to the book signing location. And through Pete's books, or through Pete's book, I should say, and through his photos, you're given a great seat to see how President Obama operated. So let's take a look inside, and I'll give you my thoughts. Again, the book is a large book. It's very heavy, and Pete mentioned during the talk that he took almost 2 million photos. And again, it's hardback. A portion that I really like is the way they've got 44 gold stamp on the jacket. It retails for about $50, and I've seen some lower on Amazon, but it's out of print because it's so popular. And it's just chock full of photos that Pete took, and there's the autograph copy of mine that he signed his name. And there's Obama out there playing basketball at the White House. And he breaks it down into various chapters as he did so. And there's Obama doing the forward on Pete, which you see. Now this is an interesting photo because this is when he first came into the Senate. And I think Pete said he met President Obama, well now President Obama, but then he was senator in 2005. And that's the first day on the job when he was stuck in his office in the basement. Then he has the introduction. And all these photos that he took give you a nice window of some of the things that we saw during the 8 years of Obama's term. And all of them are extremely iconic. Here's him throwing the football around. And they're hugging his daughter in Egypt. Here's a shot when they were in Russia. And there's I guess he's admonishing Putin about something. And Pete stopped and paused and said, this is the kind of emotion that Trump should be providing in dealing with Putin instead of horsing around. And the crowd just erupted in applause when he said that. And there's Sasha horsing around in the office. And here's he was critiquing a speech, and then Pete wove into the detail how he worked with this speech writer so that it was a more personal touch, and they appreciated him. Here's a shot when he won the Nobel Prize. Let's see, and it's just full of photos, full of great photos. Book very worthy of investing in and having in your library. It's page by page. There's a military Corey. I forget his name. Corey. He was the trooper that was injured, who Obama had a good relationship with. And so this is what you have: a book full of just iconic photos, and it goes on. And it goes on, and it goes on. There's one of he and Michelle. That's kind of a favorite, tucked in the middle. There's the boss, Bruce Springsteen. No, that's not the boss. That looks like Sting. Or U2, Bono. I'm sorry. That's Bono in the White House giving a personal performance. It's Gabby Gifford. There's Obama showing the girls how to shoot a basketball. There's him in the iconic Smithsonian African American Museum in the bus that Rosa Parks was on. And so it just goes on and on and on, and just great shots. Pete has put together a masterpiece, and it goes on. I'm flipping all the way in the back. There him shooting balls with one of his staff. And notice the form. I got to give him an A+ on the form. And so here we're at 341, and here's when he was departing the White House for the last time. So it's about 350 pages of photos that you will find enjoyable. And there's the iconic picture on the back. And it's an interesting story about this this photo. Everyone has their own interpretation, but the bottom line is what Pete said is that the family was intrigued because the boy's haircut was similar to Obama, and so he just wanted to touch his hair, and he talked about how remarkable it was that Obama had no problems with that because he indeed is a people person. So there you have it. This is a very thick book, and it's called Obama, An Intimate Portrait. One thing I want to point out is that the book is a book, but attending a book signing like this is the magic. Pete took the sold-out crowd on an outstanding journey, and in the course of about an hour and a half, he narrated various shots. The backstories were priceless, and whether you supported President Obama or not, you experienced the journey by getting a better understanding of the 44th President of the United States. Now, one thing that I saw rather remarkable was as the talk was winding down, and the actual book signing was about to take place, I glanced around and noticed several people wiping their eyes. No doubt, Pete had us all riveted by his stories, but given where we are with Trump's daily antics, it might be easy to understand the impact that Obama had on people. The promise of his presidency, the decency of his family, the reality that for 8 years the White House was free of any personal drama or issues, and you felt no embarrassment. And so I can understand the emotions I was witnessing, but I guess I took for granted because I followed the presidency for all those 8 years myself, but it was very touching to see so many people in attendance that had the visual reaction of showing tears. So again, there's the book, a good investment. I would encourage you, if you haven't already picked one up, go grab it. It's a great tabletop, and it'll be something that you can treasure in your family for years to come. That is my review. Again, I was a little longer than I wanted to, but again, it's a great book. And Pete, if you can get to a book signing, that's your hat trick, because it's one thing to buy the book, but to hear the backstories is critical. Now, if you can't go to a book signing, you can always go on YouTube, because there are some snippets of interviews where he does give backstory information, and there you kind of go inside the photos and get a better understanding of President Obama, the 44th president, and his family, and why Pete's book is a jewel. So, like if you like, dislike if you dislike. Any comments you want to have, or you want to make, I would appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching my review of Obama, An Intimate Portrait by Pete Souza.